Ladies and gentlemen, it has been a minute, and I apologize for that. I took off a couple of weeks over Christmas, over New Year's. I generally do the same thing every single year, and I hope all of you had a great Christmas, a happy New Year, but we are back with that sweet, sweet content that all of you deserve. Now, as far as what we're going to be talking about today, it's essentially going to be the state or current state of Call of Duty, both Warzone and Call of Duty Vanguard. And to do this, what we're going to do is take a look back over the past previous years and discuss how we got to where we are today. Because I'm going to spoil things a little bit. I don't think Call of Duty is in a very good state, but I think there's a big reason for that, and it absolutely can be fixed. In fact, I really think it needs to be fixed for Call of Duty's sake, and you'll see what I mean as we dive through this video. So, without further ado, I'm not going to hold back anymore. This is the year where we pull no punches, we say everything that's on our mind. So without further ado, let's dive in and discuss what the hell happened to Call of Duty. The year was 2019, and this marked the release of Modern Warfare, a reimagining of the Modern Warfare universe, bringing back some of our favorite characters, including Captain Price. Now, the one thing that I will say about Modern Warfare is it nearly did everything right. Now, of course, there were some mistakes, and we're going to go over that too, but as far as Modern Warfare went, this game was a reimagining of not just the Modern Warfare universe, but Call of Duty as a whole. Is it the same game for the most part as we've seen for 10 years prior? Yes, but it's a new engine, the game played incredibly smooth, and people seem to enjoy that. Now, some of the shortcomings included not very many maps at launch, and on top of this, it made it so that it kind of was more tilted towards noobs, if you will. There were things like the ghost perk that was very annoying, and the mini-maps not being traditional Call of Duty mini-maps. With those few changes, I think this could have been one of the best Call of Duty games of all time. In fact, I still think it's up there even with those shortcomings. Now, with all of this, the multiplayer was awesome. People got back into the game for the first time in years. My friends that hadn't played the game since Modern Warfare 2 were like, yeah, let's hop back in and play this bad boy. Now, on top of that, they also had a completely stellar campaign, and in my opinion, it is one of the best Call of Duty campaigns ever created. Amazing storytelling and incredibly job well done on their part. With this all combined, people were buying Call of Duty again for the first time in years. And on top of all of this, they did something big. Well, first of all, they did something bad. That would be the co-op mode. Spec Ops didn't really land very well, wasn't very good. However, they had something up their sleeve, something known as Warzone. Now, there's a saying that someone said at some point, is that luck is when preparation meets opportunity. And that is exactly, in my opinion, what Warzone is. First of all, it's a great game. Not only was it free to play when it launched, it incorporated the Modern Warfare weapons and did Battle Royale in a way that many games hadn't done before. But on top of this, it launched at the exact time the world was shut down. And because of this, everyone was playing Warzone. There was nothing else to do, so everyone hopped on board and started playing this game, and because of that, there was this rapid success that wouldn't have necessarily happened if it wasn't for that insanely lucky timing, the opportunity with the preparation of this really insane game. And because of all of this, Warzone was a massive success. Now, I may be selling Warzone a little bit short here, but what I have to say is that it wasn't just the luck of timing. They also made some big changes to Call of Duty that year, getting rid of supply drop, implementing a new microtransaction system, and for the first time ever, doing something in Call of Duty that was free to play. Yes, there was Call of Duty Mobile, but we're talking about AAA games here, and as far as that goes, it was the first time ever for Call of Duty. And that strike of lightning in the same place at the same time led to the monumental success of Warzone. Were there problems with the game? Yes. Are there hackers? Are there still hackers? Yes. But this is something Call of Duty did very right. Two things back to back. Modern Warfare, Warzone, knocking it out of the park. Were there problems? Yes. But did they kill it? Yes. But then this led to the next game, Black Ops Cold War. So I think Black Ops Cold War was one of the biggest mistakes Call of Duty has ever made for two main reasons, and they're completely separate. The first of which is that in the multiplayer of Black Ops Cold War, it's good. It's a good Call of Duty game. However, it wasn't on the new engine that Modern Warfare was on, which meant it felt different and it felt less smooth. And because of those two things, after people played Warzone and Modern Warfare like crazy, going to Black Ops Cold War felt like a step in reverse. Not to mention, I think the score streak system in that game was one of the biggest mistakes that has ever been implemented in a Call of Duty game as well, but we'll try to highlight that a little bit less because whatever, different developers make different decisions, and that was one of Treyarch's. Now, not all was bad for Black Ops Cold War, as it had a pretty decent campaign, a little bit short, but pretty decent with a good story, and brought back many characters from the Black Ops universe, creating this overall multiverse kind of thing with Modern Warfare. I think that did a very good job. Not to mention, the zombies mode, in my opinion, is my favorite zombies mode of any Call of Duty game, with the implementation of various zombies camos, the way that it played, and everything along those lines. I think they did an incredibly good job with it, and I think, honestly, in my opinion, a guy who normally only plays multiplayer, zombies was the best part of that game. But with the mistake of using the old game engine for multiplayer, players didn't seem to stick with this game, and whether that reason was for the score streaks not being what people wanted, not feeling rewarding, or for the game engine as a whole, both of which were a very big mistake. And this isn't even to mention Warzone. Now, as far as Warzone was going at this point, the game was going strong, and with it, people were expecting big changes come the launch of Black Ops Cold War, which we only kind of got. First of all, we got the implementation of the Black Ops Cold War weapons, and then shortly after that, we got Verdansk 84. Now, it's very important to note that Verdansk 84 is Verdansk with a coat of paint. Really, they changed a couple of locations here or there. The overall layout of the map was the same. There were some updates to various different things, and of course, you had the Black Ops Cold War weapons as well. This, in my opinion, was once again another very big mistake. Now, you may be wondering why I think that was such a big mistake on their part, and it's simple. Gamers have a very short attention span, and when it's the same map with the same camping spots, with the same layout over and over again, and quite literally year after year, people are going to get bored. And not to even mention, the hacker situation at the time was at its peak, and every single game you get into, it would be a very similar game because the map layout has been the same for 2 years, and you'd often run into hackers. And because of these two things combined, players started to drop off. So with that year concluding, we then move into our next Call of Duty, and with that, hopes were held high for Warzone, and on top of that, Call of Duty Vanguard. So this year we got Call of Duty Vanguard, and this one is a little bit more confusing because first off, I don't think a lot of people liked that the game went back to World War II. But what can you do about that? They probably had the game in development for a few years, and by the time they figured out that people didn't want to go back to World War II, it was too little, too late. Now, right away, I will tell you that the Call of Duty Vanguard campaign is one of my least favorite campaigns in probably the last 8-ish years. And on top of that, I think the zombies mode really flopped. I think they took one of the best zombies mode from Black Ops Cold War and just found every way possible to make it worse, which really confuses me. I'm not sure why they did that. It is Treyarch making the zombies. It doesn't really make any sense. As far as the multiplayer goes, I actually think this game has a pretty good multiplayer. I like a lot of the things they did with it. I like a lot of the design decisions. I like that there is a ton of different maps. I like the combat pacing. However, I still think there's a little bit of a problem with it. Number one, it takes too long to level weapons, which means casual players are deterred from the game, do not play as much, and if they do, they're all using the same weapons, which just becomes very frustrating as you run into the same weapons over and over again. Said that from the launch of the game, I will stick with that now. I really have no changed opinions on that. The other thing is taking a look at this with Gunsmith and everything like that has been implemented over the past 2 games, not much has changed. They made it so that you can have 10 attachments on a weapon, which does change things up. But overall, the microtransactions and everything like that are basically copied and pasted from back in Modern Warfare 2019. And with that, as I mentioned with Warzone, players get bored of the same thing over and over again. Now, I do still think Vanguard has a very good multiplayer. I think it's definitely worth checking out and playing, and I think it's disappointing that a lot of people won't because it's set in World War II. That is really all I have to say about Vanguard until we discuss the next thing, and that is Warzone Pacific.
a war zone, it's a shootout every day.
So this is the part that I have to be very careful talking about because a lot of it is new. And what I mean by that is that we have a new map with a lot of gameplay changes, all the new weapons from Vanguard implemented into the game as well. And for the most part, all of that should be a good thing. It's essentially exactly what I was asking for with Black Ops Cold War and Verdansk 84. However, I think doing this created more problems than it solved, unfortunately. And I think in the long run, that will not be the case. Now, it's important to mention with Vanguard, I don't think they've done enough weapon tuning and actual updates to the game to make it work and run properly the way people want it to. For the most part, I think the multiplayer is very good, but I think there's a lot of bug fixes that need to be done, but we'll put that on the back burner. Comes in Warzone Pacific, and as far as that goes, I like the map. I like that it's very different than Verdansk. I like that it changes up the gameplay, but I think it also caused a lot of problems. Number one, the loadouts dropping in later. This is something that a lot of people really don't seem to like, and they don't seem very apt to change it, and I don't know why. I think with the implementation of all of these new weapons, they want to make it so that loadouts are more of a reward, and the players who really grind get them later, but that also deters higher kill games, which deters less people playing, and I think in the long run is a very bad move for the game. Loadouts are really what separate Warzone from other battle royales, and upon making those changes, it just doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. I gave it a chance. I thought it might be all right, make it a little more battle royale-y, make loot matter a little bit more, but all in all, I just felt people playing slower and that beginning of the game just didn't quite feel right. So I think that's one mistake. Another mistake I think is, well, all the mistakes. There are so many bugs with the Caldera right now. Weapons disappearing out of people's hands, visual bugs, texture bugs, and just things left, right, and center seem to be breaking. They can't even get the player count right in a lot of these matches, and the game is very, very broken at the moment. Of course, that's a very big problem, and as I mentioned, I think with the Caldera, eventually things will be fixed properly, but the one thing that I will say is they need to learn from their past. As they implement different seasons and add extra things, they need to make changes to the map. They need to have events that actually matter. All of the events from Verdansk 84 did essentially nothing. There were some satellites that crashed into the ground and changed nothing with the map. This map needs to change, and if it doesn't, players are going to drop off. And that is not a good thing. I love Call of Duty. I love to see it evolve, change, become better, like it did with Modern Warfare. But over the past couple of years, they just seem to be copying and pasting and following the mistakes that they've made in the past, and that is something that needs to be fixed. Something that needs to change. And in the years moving forward, that is what I want to see. Now, the good news is, this year, we get Modern Warfare 2. Infinity Ward is going to bring out something special for us, and if they follow pace with what they did in 2019, we are in for a treat. But those are my thoughts on the past couple of years of Call of Duty. After my break, I just wanted to fill you in on the state of Call of Duty, where it's at, what I'm thinking about it, and now it's your turn. Let me know what you think down in the comments. I'm curious to hear what you guys have to say. But as always, thank you so much for watching, and until next time, peace out.
We are reaching for the stars.